What's up, my fellow knights? It's Logo Dragon Knight here, and today is going to be part 7 to What If Kurama Raised Naruto. Last time we let off, the Hidden Leaf was attacked during the semifinals of the Chunin exams. Orochimaru summoned the first and second Lord Hokage, and Naruto faced them in place of the third Hokage. Okay. Naruto was able to seal away the first and second and take away Orochimaru's arms. But now he has fallen unconscious and we have to deal with the aftermath. As soon as the barrier went down, the Hokage, Misokage, their guards, and Jonin that were nearby all rush to where Naruto was. Then all of a sudden you see Naruto's classmates there as well. And they see how badly injured he is. And Hinata begins trying to treat Naruto. But while the Hokage says, "Fan the area." And Kakashi goes, "Why, Lord Hokage?" Naruto was attacked within the barrier, so he's sitting with Orochimaru. The only way he could do that is if it was someone hidden from the shadows. That is, they all go off, dealing with the rest of the remaining sound shinobi, while Naruto was escorted to the hospital. Now, just so you all know, Naruto is going to be unconscious for a while. Now, here's what really happens. A couple days after the invasion, the Hokage calls a council to see who will be promoted for Chunin exams. And they all agree that Sasuke, Hinata, Shino, Shikamaru, Choji deserve promotion to Chunin, but the civilian council was still being mad about Naruto, so they were trying to stop his promotion. And this Orochimaru just finally had enough of them and said, "You know what? I had enough of you guys." And the Hokage got his old fire back. And Danzo was happy to see this, but what the Hokage says next kinda made Danzo's day. Hey, Danzo, I told you time and time again to knock it off, but even still, you used root. Not only that, but you used root to attack Naruto. He said, killing intent, but this Danzo frown says, "What do you mean, Lord Third? I had all my root fighting in the invasion. None was anywhere near where Orochimaru was." At this, the Hokage just simply go in his robes and explain this, and points to the mask of one of the assailants. And Danzo said, "Lord Third, this isn't a root mask. While it's a good imitation, it is not." And the third Hokage realizes, "What do you mean, Danzo?" And Danzo says, "If this was a true root mask, there would be a seal on the inside of the mask. There isn't." And this caused even more questions. After the meeting, following this, those who got nominated got the promotions, but they were all still worried about Naruto. Immediately, they were set about having the village, and since a lot of the Chunin died, originally in canon, but a lot less, thanks to the sand helping against the sound. And Hinata and Sasuke also using shadow clones, but they only made 20 each to help out. Now, Naruto's still deeply recovering from this. Besides, it's rare that someone who uses the Reaper Death Seal to survive from it. Because supposedly, it kills the user as well. Anyway, while this, Naruto's in his mindscape talking to Kurama, when all of a sudden the elder Uzumaki that Naruto met in his mindscape earlier appears and says, "You have done much in such a short time, my young friend." And Naruto says, "Thank you, Lord Afuma Kage." And the Uzumaki chuckles, saying, "That actually makes sense, given the fact that Uzumakis were practically demons on the battlefield." Naruto nods. And Mitsukai says, "Naruto, oh, did you know that you have your sub release is ice? And Naruto reads an eyebrow and says, no, I did not. I actually thought it was storm release. Yes. Yes. And Mizuka said, no. No. It would be if your lightning affinity was higher, but it's not. So it looks like you have ice affinity. When you wake up from your sleep, you should find your friend Haku and train with her if she is available. And also see if you can and finally get used to training. That training of yours. Yes, and Naruto just sighs. Says, alright. The other disappears, and Kurama basically picks Naruto up with her tails in her giant fox form and puts him on her head as he just lays down thinking about what happened. And Kurama said, I thought I told you not to take necessary risks. And Naruto says, sorry, Kachan, but I didn't want Gigi to be killed by that snake. And Kurama just sighed, saying, yeah, I know, kid, but you need to learn when to restrain yourself. Others nods. Now, following this, outside, a week has passed. And just when, in the Rookie 12, that's the Rookie 12, and the sensei's visiting Naruto, he woke up. There, the Federal Kage was the first to congratulate him on becoming Special Chunin. Now, let me explain. Because of Naruto's performance, and so many foreigners and that stuff, a lot of people promoting his promotion to Jonin. But because of the Civilian Council, so Naruto couldn't do that. So Hiruzen made a compromise. Even though he dismissed the Civilian Council, he made Naruto special. Actually, no, wait. Technically, it would be Special Jonin. Because Special Jonin is in between Chunin and Jonin levels. Not Special Chunin. I forgot about that detail. Anyway, afterwards, Naruto helps by using his shadow clones, but he's taking it easy to help repair the village. When he's approached by Jiraiya to go find Tsunade at the Little Third's request. Naruto requests that he take 2 teammates with him. The third, and Jiraiya grant this. So, the 2 teammates now to choose, who's out of his friends, that go with him, are Ten, and Neji. Along the way, Naruto helped Tenten and Neji get through their weaknesses, even discovering Tenten's affinity for lightning. And Naruto says, well, that explains how you lost so spectacularly against Tamari. And Tenten goes out and says, what? And Naruto says, simple. Wind beats lightning in every situation. And Tenten just sighs, saying, yeah, but I still didn't wish I got trumped. And Naruto said, don't worry. And Naruto basically pulls a spell scroll. And here are lightning techniques for E and D rank. Some of them I made, some of them I found while doing missions outside Konoha. Hopefully it can be of use of you. Now, the jutsu that Naruto in the scroll gave Tenten are these. E rank, Sparkling Shuriken, Stunning Thread, Static Charge. Now, before anyone asks, I'm still trying to find more E rank jutsu for lightning style for my list, but it's kind of hard when there's barely any. For D rank, the Lightning Body Flicker, Flashing Shuriken, Electromagnetic Strike, Electrical Flicker, Lightning Bullet, Lightning Wolf, Lightning Snowflake, and Lightning Sinbone. And Tenten spending most of our time practicing this. Now, Neji, Naruto didn't have basically F-style techniques on him, because he doesn't use F-style, but he managed to help Neji at least get the basics down for the manipulation training. Now, while Naruto doesn't have the actual elements, he does still do the manipulation exercises. I mean, just in case, right? Anyway, around the time, Naruto thought back to his fight with Mushimaru and was trying to think, maybe I could create the same conditions for the Rasengan I used on him. So Naruto is trying to basically use the Rasengan with his wind element. Now, when they get to the hotel, this is different. Instead of hearing a knock on the door, instead of Itachi and Kisame, there's Zabuza and Haku. They met up, and Zabuza explains that the Mizukage, Lord Kage, sent a message to Mizukage asking us to help assist in your mission. Naruto nods, and basically asks, hey Haku, guess what I just found out? And Hakurizuma says, what, Naruto-kun? And basically Naruto raises his fingers, and you just see frost starting to form on them. And Zabuza goes, you can use ice style? And Naruto says, yep. Also, Naruto said, I found a school in ice style techniques. I'd be willing to let Helko make a copy if she helps me train my ice element. Zabuza nods, saying, fair enough, but I also help you train your water element. Naruto nods. So, for the next week, they're traveling. Haku and Naruto train together. Haku even starts to get reserves to use 5 Shadow Clones. Now, Shadow Clones are normally a Jonin level technique that originally in Leaf, but Naruto can trust who she gives it to. And plus, thanks to certain laws, unless you have permission from the actual master of the technique, you cannot learn the jutsu or teach it to others. Such a case in fanfic I recently read about how Sasuke demanded Naruto teach him the jutsu, and Kakashi was going to teach him it. But when Naruto made the whole ban thing, well, you can see how that works. Anyway, for ice style, I will admit, ice style techniques were kind of hard to do besides what we were shown in the TV show, in the manga. So, some of these I made up. So, please tell me what you think of this for ice style. Well, and here we go. For ice style, E rank, snowstorm, snowfall, ice fist, ice ball, snowball, snowflakes, ice disc. D rank, ice body flicker, ice sword, ice breaking fist, crystal wall, chains of ice, ice shield, wolf fang, ice spears, creeping frost technique. C rank, absolute zero, freezing wind, and freezing air, rising glacier, ice prison, black dragon blizzard, ice fierce tiger, ice wolf, chains of snow, ice snake, ice wolf, Arctic wolf, Arctic fox, icy barrage technique, set in spears of death. B rank, ice clone, ice wall, ice dragon, frozen panting, crystal wall, twin dragon blizzard, mirroring ice mirrors, there's ice breaking sledgehammer, frost wolf pack, frozen sea, swallow snowstorm, demonic ice mirrors. There's A rank, frost breath, glacial dragon, 10,000 ice petals, frozen capturing field, mirroring ice crystals. Now, Naruto and Haku will learn all this, but basically, since Haku already knew ice style, it was easy to get the E and D rank down, and half the C. Naruto, he was only able to do the E, D, and a few of the C. Now, I just read what's on the list. I also have an S rank jutsu for ice style, but I'm not going to reveal it yet. That is a emergency jutsu only. And S ranks have a nickname in Naruto, as I'm sure people are aware. Army killers. So if anyone wants to know this, we'll have to see Naruto face an army. If you want, I could do in the next part of what if Kurama raised Naruto fights an army. Me. It's up to you guys. Anyway, along the way, Naruto quickly masters that, and Zabuza also gives Naruto tips on his swordsmanship. Even though Naruto doesn't use his sword against opponents, Naruto still practices wielding the sword. Now, a lot of people might be wondering, Dragon Knight, you give Naruto the sword, you don't give him a style. Yeah, you have him practice, but not actually fight an opponent. Well, let me explain. How Naruto is unique with this version of Naruto. The only when someone gets actually serious, then Naruto would actually wield his sword. I mean, don't get me wrong, Zabuza was serious, but he wasn't that level of necessary for Uzumaki to draw his sword. Unless that person is actually troubled to make the Uzumaki use 2/10 of their reserves, or even 4/10 of their reserves, they will not draw their sword to face an opponent. And even though it's rare for an Uzumaki to do so. The only time I know in history that an Uzumaki done that was when the Hidden Whirlpool Village was attacked by 10,000 enemy shinobi. The heavily outgunned, the Uzumaki fought the last man. When the Hidden Leaf sent shinobi to help them, they attacked the remaining enemy forces, which was 2,000. Just let everyone know that ahead of time. Anyway, they finally found Tsunade at the bar, drinking with Shizune, and the whole spiel that happens between Jiraiya and Tsunade happens the exact same way. And Naruto simply smashes his hand on the ground, and you can see ice forming at the bottom of it. And Naruto says, "Know what I see? I see a coward. Nothing like the great, respected Sannin." Afterwards, Naruto just basically leaves the bar, where Tsunade ticked. Tenten and Neji go after Naruto, and they find Naruto in the forest, and he does multi-shadow clone jutsu, makes 1,000 of them, basically just has them go off, and Naruto, still angry, basically sits down, and all of a sudden you just feel the air temperature slightly get colder and colder. Now, this is a downside for those who have ice style. Ice style is heavily influenced by the emotions. If one felt a thing of love, ice style can be the most beautiful thing. However, when pure rage and tension, ice style can take on a more sinister form. As example, black ice. Those sign of pure evil and ill intent in their hearts. And they can clearly see Naruto's eyes changing from its light blue that it usually is to a slightly dark pink. No, Neji, the only one being brave of the two, steps forward and says, "Naruto, you need to calm down." Naruto says, "How can I, Neji? You heard what she said." Neji sitting right next to Naruto, not minding the code, and says, "Yes, but you were proven more than adequate to her." Naruto says, "You know, I'm kind of glad I didn't bring Hinata on this mission." And Tenten sits next to him and says, "Why?" And Naruto says, "Because she would have beat Tsunade senseless." And Tenten says, "Yeah, with how my cousin is with you, I'm surprised you two haven't, and Naruto said, "Make out yet?" And Neji nods, says, "Yeah." And Naruto says, well, we wanted to wait for a few different reasons. One, either we're married, which we're planning on, and at 17. B, we both reach the same rank for promotion. Or C, after a very, very important achievement. And Neji just nods. Now, not knowing this, but they're being spied on. And Tsunade is basically keying the whole situation as Naruto's talking to Tenten and Neji. Shizune and Jiraiya there, and Jiraiya turns to him and says, "Now, you understand, Tsunade?" And so, next day, Tsunade makes the whole bet with Naruto about completing Rasengan, and Naruto says, "You mean the regular Rasengan, or you want me to do the elemental Rasengan?" At this, everyone just stops, looks at Naruto, and says, What? I accidentally may have added wind chakra when I was using the Rasengan when I was fighting with Chumaru instead of the third. At this, Tsunade raises an eyebrow and says, "Right, you have 1 week to try to make a wind Rasengan." Now, just so you all know, there is an S-ring version of Rasengan that's completely elemental manipulation, but there is basically just like a regular, for example, Rasengan, going with that element. For example, you just say whatever element Rasengan you want, and then you say the word Rasengan after it. Now, during these times of training we go by, no one has seen Naruto, except like when he comes back for dinner and goes to sleep. But Neji is keeping a lookout, because he's thinking in his head, if I didn't know about it, I would say he's trying to not just make a wind Rasengan, but something else. Little did anyone know that Naruto is also using his clones to work in his ice style and genjutsu, since those are his two weakest fields. What's Zabuza and Haku, after that spiel, Zabuza decides to keep an eye on Tsunade and in Shizune. Because he's a master Saiyan killing technique, he can be the most stealthy opponent. So when Orochimaru showed up to make his deal, Zabuza immediately makes a water clone and has it inform Jiraiya about what's going on. So 2 days later, Jiraiya is still drugged by Tsunade, right? And basically that whole thing happens. But when she was on the way, he all of a sudden in front of her is Tenten, Neji, Naruto, and Naruto. And Naruto says, "You're not thinking of going alone, are you, Ba-chan?" And Tsunade said, "This is my fight, kids." And Naruto said, "Big deal. This is our fight too." Afterwards, they headed to the rendezvous point. And with that, I'll end part 7 off. I hope you guys enjoy it. And anyway, like goal for this video is going to be 3. And side note, guys, I hope you like my new Naruto-based theme shirt and Naruto-style hat. I got these while I was on my vacation, guys. I had meant to update what if Kurama raced Naruto before my vacation, but that video, I got interrupted so many times, so I just had to delete the footage and re-record it. Anyway, I hope you all enjoy it, and I'll leave the question in the comments below. Tell all are one.